Progressives Congress, APC in Ebonyi State, has expelled Agom Eze from the party over alleged rebellious and unruly behavior. Agom Eze was David Umahi's main challenger for the Ebonyi South senatorial ticket of the APC. On July 22, a federal high court in Abakaliki dismissed a suit filed by Umahi asking the court to recognize him as the APC candidate for the senatorial district. However, the court recognized Agom Eze, who came second in the May 28 senatorial primary for Ebonyi South, but ordered that a fresh primary be conducted within 14 days. With us now in our Abuja studio is the Ebonyi South senatorial aspirant, Agom Eze, and she will be speaking to us on the controversy over the senatorial ticket and her clash with Governor David Umahi. Good to have you on Newsday. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. Well, first of all, I'd like to ask you for your reaction to your expulsion from the APC due to alleged gross misconduct. What do you have to say about that?
Thank you very much. As far as I'm concerned, I have not been expelled or suspended. And if you are an erring officer, you talk about suspension first, sure, you talk about expelling. The issue today is I don't even know what I have done. The only thing I have done is to insist on the ticket. And unfortunately, the governor also wants the ticket. And let me take you through the story of this ticket. At the time of purchasing for the nomination, the governor went for the presidential. And I now picked up the ticket for the senatorial seat. And I'm aware that in our new electoral law, you have to maintain a line. You cannot finish one and go to the next one. Unfortunately, right from the moment I picked this ticket, it's been trouble all the way. Even to submit this ticket was a big problem. They kept calling me, different people, threatening I must not submit the ticket, and nobody was able to give me a reason why I shouldn't submit the ticket. Let me state here that I have very high regard for my governor. If my governor had picked the ticket for the senatorial seat, I wouldn't have gone for it. But unfortunately, he picked the ticket for the presidential. We all have the right to Nigeria. I have the right to I have a democratic right to aspire to whatever I want to aspire in this country. And so I did. From the moment even to go for the screening, he did everything to stop me. I still went through. To go for the primaries was an uphill task. The police had to escort me to the venue and escorted me back. The commissioner of police, while the primaries was going on, was right by my side. And I keep wondering, is it the same thing when a man is running for an election, or is it because of my gender? However, the election was held and I came second. And I went about my business. Shortly after that, I went about my business doing the campaign for, what is it called? Voters card, sensitization. So that kept me busy. And one day somebody said the governor was going to, okay, the brother now stepped down for him. And so he wanted to run for the senatorial seat. Since I didn't win, so I didn't bother myself. Only for INEC not to publish his name, I think on the 24th of June, thereabouts. And nobody knew while they didn't publish his name. And so I was in my house one day, somebody called me and said, oh, are you aware governor is going to court? I said, to do what? He said, to get an order persuading INEC to include his name. And I'm very much aware, too, that the only authentic primaries that have done in this country is the one of 28th of May. And so I sent a lawyer to go in and find out if my name is mentioned in anywhere in that suit, that I should, he should apply to join. So my governor was the one that went to court. I only joined in the matter because my name was mentioned. I was very glad when the judgment was given, and it was to my favor. It was celebrated all over Nigeria, all over the world, especially the female folk. And I want to tell you that that judgment you talked about wasn't the same judgment. The judgment that was read in court was not the same judgment that we got the CTC. It was only when we got the CTC that we now realized that the judge has now included that there should be a rerun. Yes, there was a rerun in the first place, but rerun for the only candidate that was remaining, which was me. And so the next thing we saw was that there should be a rerun and anybody can join. There should be new applicants. And one now wonders, in a court of law, do they give you what you don't ask for? So as it is today, we have two judgments. And what did I do? I now went on court of appeal to appeal to some part of that judgment that didn't go down well with me. And that is where we are today. The next thing we saw was his lawyer, who is the older brother, applying for an ex parte order to enable them conduct a fresh primary based on what the signed judgment. And so we rushed to the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court and protested on that issue. In Ebonyi State, they believe I was lying. 2 days after, the ex parte order came out, and he conducted another primary on Sunday. And on that Sunday, I was having a program at AIT. The brother was there, they all participated, and I wrote, there was a publication telling everybody that I wasn't going to participate because this is illegality, because the case is pending in courts. So you cannot go doing another primary. They went and did the primary, and they said the governor won. And he scored almost the whole the number of tickets. I didn't bother myself because I'm not interested in the other elections that have been done. As it is in Ebonyi South Senatorial Zone, we now have three primaries. But the one I'm interested in is the...
Ms. Agom Eze, so sorry to interrupt you from explaining exactly how the timeline of events happened. But for the sake of time, I want to ask you, you have been called everything from a placeholder to someone who has falsified their INEC certificate to someone who is not in this place legally. Seeing as how this has all drawn out, how has it personally affected you as a politician and you as a human being, as what you described early on does not sound very pleasant or encouraging for those who are interested in entering the political space?
Well, it's been a rough road, very bumpy, but I'm standing strong. And like you asked me earlier on about the suspension, you cannot suspend somebody. We have rules and regulations on our constitution, and those things were not followed. First and foremost, there has to be a petition from my ward. They approached my ward chairman and the executives, and they said the woman has done nothing to us. And actually, she has been the one supporting the ward. And so they will not be able to do that. They issued a statement, which was also published. By the next day, they came back again, insisting that they must sign. Those ones refused. They took them to Abakaliki, put them under house arrest for a whole day till very late in the night. They still refused. The next thing, according to what I heard, that the governor called the chairman of the Onitsha local government and gave an instruction that I must be suspended. And the question is, why is he worried about me being part of the electoral process? You know, why is he really worried about it? Why must I be taken out of the system for him to move on? However, they went to local government, and the chairman still insisted he wasn't going to do that. And when they were about to get him arrested, the guy was able to find his way, and up till now, we don't even know where he is. So the assistant chairman was the one that was able to do their bidding. The next day, they went to Afipo, which is our senatorial zone, the headquarters. And now they did an affirmation, coming up with all sorts of things that I don't even know about. When you are suspending somebody, you have to first and foremost hear from me. It was after the suspension, maybe it now occurred to them that they have done a silly thing. I was called that they're announcing my name, I should come for disciplinary action. You don't put a cart before the horse. And so I did not go. And I have also heard from very comfortable quarters that all they are doing is to lure me to Ebonyi State so that the unknown gunmen will probably catch me on the road. And I will not want to die. I want to be alive to represent my people. Do you also know that he also started a verification, staff verification? I'm a retired permanent secretary. I retired since 2015. My gratuity is not paid. He now called for the verification, knowing that I may not come. They've been doing everything to lure me to come to the state so that they can deal with me for standing firm for the ticket because the governor wants it. Part of the reason why I'm being persecuted is because they said, why will I be struggling for what the governor has? I'm not struggling with the governor. The governor went for presidential, and I have been on this straight line, and I will continue on this straight line. So that was how this...
All right, Mrs. Agom Eze, permit me to actually butt in at this point. Now, briefly, because the state chairman, Mr. Stanley Okoro Emegba, said that wherever you have found that they've ordered for your arrest, and they've said that you've actually contravened party laws and you've been accused of alleged anti-party behavior and perjury against the party in the state. Do you know about this?
That's an assumption. Yes, I've heard about all that. That's an assumption. I cannot be arrested because that would be an infringement of my fundamental rights. Because I've done nothing. Nobody has given me any paper. The governor cannot, neither with the chairman, instruct that I should be arrested. Arrested for what? Well, if anybody wants to arrest me, let them come and arrest me. After all, whatever they say I've done, pursuing my mandate, I don't think it's a crime. So my issue is, the press should find out, why are they so worried about me? They said they have won an election, and I'm not contesting that one. So if the INEC decides to, include him, that is their problem. And if our party decides to put his name, that is their problem. But what I do know is the whole world is looking out for the judgment of this matter because it's still in the court of law. And nobody can arrest me because I'm on appeal. They cannot arrest me. And so nothing can happen until the judgment is given. There should be no infringement of my fundamental rights. I have every reason to walk around. And so I don't know what come to think of it, the party chairman is supposed to be an unbiased umpire. Is he doing that? The chairman has been declared wanted. I have been, the issue of arresting me, let me also tell you from the grapevine that I should be shot at sight. From the grapevine. So what they are looking for is like, when they now do their concussions, and maybe I try to resist, somebody will not shoot me. Why would somebody want me to die? For what? I have children. I have a family. I have supporters. When I look back and see the people behind me, people supporting, go to Facebook and see what is going on. So that is the situation so my chairman, the ward chairman now put up a publication and said, we have not suspended her. If I still have time, I will continue. That they have not suspended me.
Mrs. Anne Agom Eze, this is a really very sad situation. We do hope it is resolved amicably, but unfortunately we're out of time. Thank you so much for coming on Newsday, and please stay safe.